hello, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Futon Talks. I am your host, Christopher Midling, joined as always by Joshua Castro, and our very good friend, the only person to come twice on the show,
wow, look
Michael Reyes.
I feel very honored.
You should.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Oh, we're overjoyed to have you. You've beaten White Light. You've beaten Joel Haver. Who are they? No one. I'm excited to have you back, man.
No one like Michael Reyes.
That's right.
That's right.
It's like that song, Me and Michael.
Good song.
Okay. Well, Ragnarok is upon us.
Thimble.
And as you can see, God of War is behind me. And behind us.
And behind. Wow, you're right.
Yeah. Legit. It's literally behind us.
It's there too.
It's behind Josh, too.
Is it
Can't
behind you,
escape.
Michael? We can't see you, but
I'm a psychopath. I don't have anything on my walls. I
What
don't have
are you
any.
doing?
I don't have any decorations.
An eggshell prison.
Yes. But so yes, kind of. I
yeah,
guess.
that's true.
Whatever you want, Michael.
He's just an Niflheim.
It's a blank canvas.
Yeah. For your psychopathic imagination.
Yeah.
Well, guys. This is a big day.
It's fantastic.
But first, yeah. It's a nice day. It's actually 70 degrees for once.
How cold.
We're having like climate whiplash right now.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to have. Until it kills us. But that's okay.
This game came out in 2018.
Whoa. 4 years.
Has it been 4 years? It feels longer. But Josh, give us your 3 words. You may
Okay.
elaborate if you must.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of elaboration this time.
Okay, good.
Chris is relieved. Chris despises my elaboration. I think just the perfect video game. A nice, concise 3 words. This is probably one of the only big... I lied about elaboration. Here I go. It's one of the only big, 20-plus hour story-focused video games I've ever played twice. Because I just hate redoing things unless it's like a very specific thing. Like I'll watch Lord of the Rings every year. That's like something we do as a family. But very seldom do I rewatch movies. Very seldom do I want to go back through a game, especially if it's like really story focused, But I played this game through a second time just, a couple weeks ago. And it's even better the second time. It's so good. It's just feels great to play. The acting is much better than I remember it. It still looks like it came out yesterday. The fidelity is out of this world. The audio is great. All the characters are just phenomenal. Kratos' arc is heart-wrenching. Oh, it's phenomenal. And the only parts of the game that I don't like, I avoided on my second playthrough. I didn't have to go to those dumb extra realms and waste half my life. I didn't have to deal with fast travel. Oh my gosh. If you just don't do any of that stuff, it is the perfect video game. So my last playthrough was the perfect video game.
Wow.
I'll say. Those are my 3 words.
Okay.
I like it. How about you, Michael?
All right. Mine are grief is the first one. Evolutionary is my second one. And creative is my third one. So grief in terms... that's the word I chose for the story, how everything all plays out. You start out and Trace's mother has died, and you can feel that in just about everything that Kratos says, or at least I can. I don't know about you guys. let's see, evolutionary. So the first games, you were basically kind of a bad guy, kind of, you know.
Yeah, straight up.
You were god killing. You were you basically were just extremely angry the whole time. It's a departure in terms of setting and like perspective, because the perspective is only third person when you're playing, which is extremely different from the originals. But there are things that stay the same, like the cinematography, right? When you kill bosses, when you kill monsters, you still retain that that sense of epicness.
Yeah, like that visceral camera.
Yeah, it's very brutal still, but they still add things to the game. Very small details, animations, sounds. They add so much, but it only evolves from the previous games. It doesn't take anything away, in my opinion. That's where I'm going with this. And creative in terms of the world, how the bridge moves, how the Bifrost, when you move the bridge the first time, I was sort of mind blown. I didn't think the world could evolve the way it did. When the serpent got out of the water, it revealed a whole map. That was one of the best moments in the game for me, and it was right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 words.
Wow, I love that. I think that it was lost on me the second playthrough how cool it was that as you go through the game, like the water lowers and lowers and lowers, and you get more and more places to explore. And I think it was a great move because it avoids that sort of Forbidden West, Ubisoft open world, overwhelming feeling of just too much to do.
Yeah.
At least for me it did, because I hate that. When I play a game and I open it up and I look at the map and I'm just like, ugh, you know, like I can't handle this. Like, sorry to derail us, but playing Destiny 2, oh my gosh, I don't think there's a video game with a worse like new player experience than Destiny 2. It's just like, oh look, go to the moon. It's just like, go to all these different planets. Like there's a raid, but you can't play it unless you give us $40. But it's the only thing we're gonna show you. And then, you know, and then there's just markers everywhere. A bajillion quests. It's just crazy. So, good job, Corey. Sidestepping Destiny 2 syndrome. But yeah, I liked what you said.
I liked what you said about the cameras too, and like what wasn't lost from the original games, and they just evolved them to kind of naturally fit the new story, the new Kratos. It's you're right, everything has evolved, the world building, the combat, the one take camera angle was like a new thing instead of the fixed camera angle that just followed you as you went.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely good stuff there.
Actually, when you said that, it reminded me of Resident Evil 2 remake. How that changed from the original Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
And that's also a great video game. So
yes, it is.
Is there correlation there? Like,
both good.
Yes.
All right, I'll close this out really fast with Zeitgeist. Comeback.
Wait, what about you?
Oh,
yeah. Are
These
these
are
the
my
words?
words.
Sorry.
He's just being crazy over here.
I
These are the
was
words.
like, Zeitgeist. What are you going on about now?
Zeitgeist, Comeback, and the third one's a little iffy. I put Half Measures.
Okay.
Wow.
Zeitgeist. because it was like a something of the time. Like it definitely, everything I remember from then is enveloped in this game pretty much. Like this was the talk of the town. You know, it's
huge.
God of War or was it Breath of the Wild? I don't know. The reveal was awesome. I remember getting the game, picking it up, and GameStop got my order wrong.
Classic.
And I don't know, it was just a really special game. Everyone was talking about it. I think that was just such a different time in video games. I felt like things were a lot more positive back then.
Everyone was so happy just to have a good video game.
Comeback, obviously, because of the Ascension debacle. People were sick of Kratos. This was like a time where it felt like when people get sick of mascots, okay, it's time to retire Master Chief. Let's put Sly Cooper into the ground. I don't know. People are like sick and tired of Kratos. We're sick of like bald guy who's always angry, you know. And they were able to turn it around so swiftly.
Now we love bald guys who are angry again.
It's your dad.
Them. That's right.
And then half measures, I don't mean it to sound so negative, but they got so much stuff right in this game that there's some stuff that could have used more time in the oven or just taken out completely. Mostly UI stuff, fast traveling, like Josh said. He just skipped it entirely for a second playthrough, which I did too.
Didn't deal with it.
I was not dealing with Muspelheim.
Absolutely
or the other
not.
one.
Or Niflheim. Oh my gosh. That hellhole.
Yeah, I definitely died there more than any other place.
Yeah, I wasn't having it.
I wasn't going to deal with that.
But I think we'll get into more criticisms of the game as we talk about it. But
yeah,
I think we're ready to just jump right in. I have a few talking points for everyone. But if there's anything you guys want to jump off of right now,
yeah,
we'll get into it.
I've got one, and it's
what you got, Josh.
Comes out of pure curiosity because I think we got a couple interesting viewpoints here. Because Michael, you're on PC, you're playing some of these first-party Sony games for like the first time. You know, you're talking about how you never thought this would come to PC, and then Chris, I saw you were playing Last of Us Part 2 and Part 1 like the last couple days. What do you think Sony's most valuable IP is? And when I say valuable, I don't mean like straight up just money, you know, because then it would just be Spider-Man. Like, obviously, it's just it's Spider-Man, you know, it's crazy. They make so much money off of Spider-Man, especially even just outside of the gaming space. But like, I don't know, like maybe not even cultural impact. Maybe it's just what's your favorite Sony IP, which is a much dumber question, but I don't know. Do you understand what I'm getting at here, Chris? Staring at your copy of Last of Us Part 1?
I definitely get your I get what you're putting down.
Picking it up. I like it.
I think favorite is The Last of Us for me. The second playthrough of Part 2 and playing through Remake have definitely shown me that I could just eat this stuff up no matter what. Give me a third game, make it 3 times as long. I don't care. I will play it. And I was just thinking about, you know, back when Factions was a thing for the original Last of Us and the remaster. And I put 80 hours into the multiplayer alone.
You loved it, man. I remember going to your house and being
so good
like,
at it.
do you wanna play a game, Chris? And you were like, yeah, just let me finish this game. And she would just play like 5 games of Factions.
It's so good. My favorite is The Last of Us. Their most valuable IP. I think that comes with the culture and with what's popping at the time, man, you know? Because you could say that the most beloved PlayStation IP is Bloodborne, but that's one game that came out in 2014 or 2015.
That has gotten little to no support.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, and I think that the reason we're never getting another Bloodborne, or at least not for a while, is just because Sony wants to do it because it's an infinite money button. Like, obviously, it would sell.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they don't want to do it unless FromSoft does it. And I don't think FromSoft has any interest after seeing the bajillions of dollars they made off of multi-platform Elden Ring. I think they have zero interest in ever doing like an exclusive game again. Because why would they?
Mm-hmm.
Why would they cut themselves off like that? Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Totally off topic. I was just thinking about that.
Oh, you're fine.
But interesting thought though, Chris.
I don't know. What do you think, Michael? I need more time to think about this.
When you said most valuable IP, I think of what's the first IP that comes to mind when I think of Sony IPs, and I think that's Last of Us.
Interesting. I thought you were going to say Uncharted.
No.
That makes sense. I think Last of Us is also a great pick.
I think it's the most unique out of the four that I'm thinking of. Out of Spider-Man, Last of Us, Uncharted, and I guess even God of War. I guess that's the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's... Yeah, for some reason that sticks out to me as the most unique in terms of gameplay. I don't know why, but it does.
No,
Oh,
it makes sense. You also can't have it, so
Yeah,
absence makes the heart grow fonder. But
that's right.
I think an important thing to think about is some IPs are now multi-platform. Because old PlayStation, you think of Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, but they're Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You know, MLB The Show, which I think was the highest grossing money-wise IP for PlayStation, is now multi-plat.
mm-hmm.
I didn't it get released only for Xbox? Isn't that like
No, it was free on Xbox.
It was on Game
that's
Pass
what
day
Game
one.
Pass. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
It is hilarious.
A little dirty.
Oh, a little filthy, Phil.
Filthy.
Phil. Because I think of. I mean, you got Ghost of Tsushima, you got God of War, you got Horizon, you got Last of Us, you got technically Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking Final Fantasy might be the most important one because it's the most like tightly, you know, you think of PlayStation, you think of, oh, I can't play 7 right now.
Exactly, it's Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's so important. And then you got Bloodborne. I didn't realize I had so many of these behind me. I don't have Last of Us behind me, Chris. For me, it's God of War, but
Okay.
but there's no logic behind that. I just think it's the best game they've made. Bloodborne's a good game. Horizon has its issues. Final Fantasy VII Remake is a perfect game with one bad level. But this has 2 bad levels. And this game doesn't have Aerith. So I can't be fully happy.
You're not making a lot of sense here, Josh.
Wait, what's the bad level in 7?
The one where they're in the train station.
The train station.
So you don't even remember it. That's how that's how bad it is. But yeah. Actually, there's a couple train station levels, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I was like the
actually
very
remember
beginning.
a
Ghost
lot.
train.
I
The
remember
ghost train.
I remember a lot of bad levels in that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII Remake, almost a perfect game. I love that game.
I can't disagree more.
I understand. Some people are wrong. I mean, you said last you haven't even played it, so. But
I actually have played The Last of Us.
don't lie to me, Michael.
I have.
You'd be a changed man. You'd be like Chris, an addict. But yeah, I mean, they do have a remarkably large library of great exclusive games, so I don't know what Jim is complaining about. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Call of Duty is the best game on PlayStation?
I think it's the most selling.
It probably.
That's it.
What about it? Does FIFA sell more? MLB apparently sold more and made them more money, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it sells enough to make a difference. I guess that was his point.
I'm sure it's true. Hopefully they make a good shooter again. They haven't made a good shooter in many years.
Yeah.
I mean, Sony, not everyone in general. There's a lot of great shooters.
What was the last one they made?
The last one Sony made? I mean, the only one I can think of is Shadowfall, but I'm sure they made a lot of others. But first party?
No, it was only Shadowfall.
It was Shadowfall.
Unless you want to count Firewall, which is that VR game.
Wait, what's Shadow Wall?
Shadowfall is Killzone?
Killzone.
Oh.
It's the fourth Killzone.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
came out when the PS4 launched. It's been a
bad
long
video
time.
game.
Okay.
It is not
terrible.
good. I mean, technically they own Destiny now. Even though it's going to stay multi-platform, so that doesn't count. Also, Destiny is bad.
All right.
But anyway, sorry,
Michael.
Chris. I led us on a fruitless journey
it was
that had
very
little to
good.
nothing to do with God of War.
That
It
was
was
an
very good.
excellent segue into our God of War section.
I have one question before we get into. I don't know if we need to talk about story very much. I have a couple questions of the story for you guys, but I don't think we need to. I think everyone who's listening, if anyone's listening, has played God of War, because this is like one of the best-selling, best PlayStation games. Like if you have a PlayStation, you own God of War. It's free.
I think they send you one the second you buy a PlayStation. Sony just puts one in the mail.
But like Josh was saying, this is kind of the same question, but a little different from what Josh was asking. And like this is one of the highest rated PlayStation games and just general video games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It was Josh's game of the year
Does that make
2 or 3 years ago.
It was actually Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think.
Was it?
I think that
2018?
Final Fantasy VII Remake beat it out.
Why?
Well, so in our Game of the Year, the first time we did a Game of the Year discussion, we included games from like 3 or 4 years ago because I was playing all the games from my mission that I missed.
Games you played that year.
That year,
Exactly, yeah.
That's how
Got
we
it.
did it.
But
It's really disappointing if that's
bro,
what-
you haven't even played it. Chris, you
I got
still
through
haven't
half
played
of
it.
No, I had enough.
Do I have a poster of God of War? No, I just have a book. I have a poster for Final
So you have
Fantasy.
something that's worth more.
That poster is worth my whole life. All right, look at her.
All right.
Anyway,
All right, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
One of the highest rated games of all time.
Yes.
Does that ring true to you? Someone who's played it now on PC. Is this one of the best games you've ever played?
Yes.
Okay. Top 10?
let's go.
I would say for sure top 20. For sure.
That's pretty good.
Because I just finished it 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So I'm still
Marinating on it.
gathering my thoughts, seeing if it's memorable. I think memory is a huge part in me reviewing any sort of media.
For sure. Staying power.
Yes. Yeah, I can understand how it can be someone's favorite game. That's that's what I look for in things, whether not that if it is my favorite thing, but whether I can believe it's somebody's favorite game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
Josh.
well, for me,
know
like,
you
yeah,
just
for
said-
sure.
Yeah. But like you're comparing it to the Mass Effect 2s.
Like, is it my favorite game? No, it's not,
Not
my
your favorite game, but is it
You
one?
know, but it's definitely like top 10 favorite games. Oh, for
Mm-hmm.
sure, guaranteed. You know, like there's games that have meant more to me. Like I've talked about a bajillion times, but like Outer Wilds, I think it's the best game ever made. I love Hellblade, Senua Sacrifice, fantastic game. Mass Effect 2 is great. You know, Final Fantasy VII Remake. So yeah, and I really agree with your sentiment, Michael. Like it's like if I could totally believe and like understand this being someone's favorite game, then I think it deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame, you know, best games. Because it would never ever surprise me if someone was like, yeah, God of War is my favorite game. It's like, obviously, you know, it's like, it's one of the best games ever made.
Are you an idiot?
Are you stupid? So yeah, I definitely agree with you. Chris might have a little hot take for us though. He might think that the Evil Dead multiplayer game is actually the best game
of the century.
Of the century.
Since video games were created.
The millennia.
Yeah, right.
This is a very good video game.
That's Chris right there.
This is a very good video game. I love this game. I would love to one day actually go and make a list of like top 25 games. I am not certain this would make it for only a few reasons. But I will say this is one of those games where it gets thematically and like story-wise, it gets everything right. And there's only been a few games in my life where they give me goosebumps no matter how many times I play it, where all the story beats hit perfectly, and you just like in your head, you're like, yeah, let's go. Like this game gets you hyped up really nice. I would put Yakuza 0 on that list.
Of course.
I would put the Last of Us games on that list. Red Dead 1 and 2. Maybe a few more.
I mean, you need probably 18 more, according to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a different list. But yeah, no, this is one of the best games, and especially in my second playthrough, like Josh was saying, it's much better the second time when you're not distracted by getting trophies or getting all the collectibles, looking for the ravens. You're not going to Muspelheim, Niflheim. You're just focused on the story, and the story is where the game is at. For me, I think for all of us. But yeah, I think we should just start. Well, let's talk about weapon variety. This is such a departure from the series. You go from 8 weapons to 1. Spoiler alert, 2. I guess you can count 4 if you count the shield and the fists.
And the fists, yeah.
I'd say the fists are a weapon. But I feel like the fist and the shield are technically one weapon together.
Complementary, yeah.
How do you guys feel about that?
Maybe this shows that I didn't play the other God of War games, but I would have been overwhelmed if there was anything else, you know? Because I felt like it was, number one, it's like the perfect reveal that you don't know they're there. You don't know you're going to get the chains.
Yeah.
The blades of chaos. And so that's like huge from a narrative perspective and from, you know, like Kratos' character. So from a character perspective, it's huge. But then it plays so differently. It fills in all the gaps that are left by the axe and by the fists, you know? So I don't know. I think if they added anything else, it would have felt redundant to me. And it would have been obvious that there was like a bad choice. Whereas with these 3, you have perfect balance. And you just cover everything. And it's pretty in depth, you know, there's definitely like room for mastery. Like I can't beat the Valkyries. I'm so bad at this game, you know? And so that shows there is a depth to the combat with the weapons and with the different talismans and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't know if that answers the question, but I think that they find the depth instead of adding extra weapons, which may have been superfluous. They add all of these other abilities and like ultimates or whatever that you can kind of mix in there so that you get the same depth, but it's not in the same way. And I think in a way that's a bit more fluid. I don't know if that made sense.
No, yeah.
I actually completely agree with that. Having less weapons but more skills for those weapons, and the amount of time it takes for you to get the skill points needed, I think is they really nailed it, I think. in terms of how fast you get the skills. I was basically getting a new skill once every 2 or 3 fights, and that was enough for me to master whatever skill I had just gotten previously. So
yes, I do agree with both of you, because this year I went through God of War 1, 2, and 3. Technically for the first time, because I haven't played 2 in so long. And yeah, I liked what you said, Josh. You get into some area where you're like, this is the bad weapon. This is the weapon no one can use. Or you're cycling through all your weapons like, man, I wish I could just cycle to the one that I want next, not 4 or 5 of them. And it's so shallow with so many weapons that it's, why even bother using some of them? Why bother upgrading them when your Chaos Blades are already halfway there? So I agree. I do like just the Leviathan Axe and the Chaos Blades, and I like that the game gives the Leviathan room to breathe for 2/3 of the game, and then for the last third you're able to upgrade the Chaos Blades and get used to them. And they're awesome. They're simpatico, man. They gel together. I remember getting so good with the combat for the Platinum. I couldn't do it. I couldn't even try this time. I couldn't be a Valkyrie.
They're hard.
Just trying. Trying to beat one. I couldn't do it.
you couldn't beat a Valkyrie?
Well, I wasn't going to try to, honestly. Like, I got into the arena, I'm like, yeah, this is a mistake. This isn't why I want to play this game.
The first time I fought a Valkyrie, that was probably the most fun I've had in a very long time in terms of playing a video game.
That's awesome.
Did you defeat all 9?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Nice.
That first Valkyrie took me 15, 20 tries.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
But I mean, everyone after that was shorter and shorter because I just got better and better and more skills and stronger. But that was the best part of the gameplay, was fighting the Valkyries.
Well, I'm glad. Not everyone is an overachiever like you, Michael.
I know the first time I played this game, I had a lot more fun fighting Valkyries. I never beat all 9, but I killed like 5 of them. I did more than half of it, and I didn't finish it mostly because I was like, oh, I'm going to do the Platinum. And the reason I quit is because I started to go kill Odin's Ravens, and I'd only killed like 3. I don't know how I never noticed them.
There's 50 of them.
There's so many. And I was just fighting to fast travel to get back to the first area to find a Raven.
Yeah.
And it took me an hour and a half to get to the Raven because it was so confusing and I was dumb. And so then I quit the game. So and then I deleted it because I was so mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, this time I fought a Valkyrie. It 2-shot me, and I was like, okay,
perfect.
not gonna do this.
Perfect ratio.
You don't realize how much the gear grind is like actually really important in this game. At least when you get to those really high levels of like difficult combat.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it is great when you're there for it.
Yeah. Second time around, you just want to have a nice walk in the park and
You just want to see Atreus smile.
That's it. But I do remember getting the Platinum and killing the Valkyries, and man, you just had to be on it. You're throwing your axe and doing like timing the shot, and then throwing your shield and pulling out your Chaos Blades and swinging it around, using all of your alts and rune attacks. I mean, stuff used to go crazy. Like, I don't know how I did it. I think I broke a PS4 controller doing it. It's just, fingers were on fire.
Yeah, I think for like the first 3 or 4 Valkyries I fought, I only had the axe. I didn't have the blades. I don't know how I did it. It's not like it's not like I used the blades all that much in the Valkyrie fights, but their runic attacks, I think, are the best.
And they're so necessary. Even if you don't plan on using the blades, just get those 2 rune attacks out so you can
just put them on cooldown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm glad we all got that out of the way. Oh, what is it, Josh?
I was like, I have a discussion question.
Please.
Because I don't know what you said. You said something that inspired me. But just like the moment, there's like so many good moments, but a moment in the game that like really struck you. Like, is there a line or like a scene or something that happened that has just stayed with you?
I do have a favorite scene.
Tell it
but
to
I want to hear
me.
Michael's first.
Oh, good. I don't know if you've thought of one, Michael. If you haven't, we can go.
I have not.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right, we'll start with Chris, and then I can say something too.
My favorite moment in the entire game is after Tyr's Temple when they are on the elevator and they drink wine together.
Aw.
That's by far, that brought a tear to my eye even the second time, and that was the most father-son moment I've probably seen in a video game. Like, truly, like, it's heartfelt, it's cute. You know how stern Kratos is, and you can tell he's enjoying himself and he's acting silly with his son. I think that was a really cool moment. Man, that's all I gotta say about it.
I super agree.
Josh?
I
Do you wish Phil would do that with you, Chris?
He does every night.
Every night he takes you in an elevator. You go, Michael. I want to hear what you gotta say.
Okay. I have a scene. It's the scene where you're in Helheim with Atreus, and he's being a poo-poo head. And he made a big mistake. And he so you're in Helheim together, and you see a sort of vision, a flashback of Kratos and Zeus, and Kratos kills Zeus. That was, for some reason, I remember that from playing the previous games, even though I don't remember anything else. That brought a pretty big flashback to those games, and that was kind of crazy. Also, the first time Zeus appears in Helheim with what was there, an animal? Was he an animal? What do you guys remember? He was like a big cloud.
Was Zeus an animal?
Yeah.
Oh, he was just his. I think he was just his face.
Okay, yeah, it was his
clouds.
face. That,
This dude looks like an animal.
yeah, he
is an animal.
It was basically just an illustration, but it was really good to look at. For some reason, it looked really nice. So
You're not expecting anything from the previous games to show up.
yeah, when the blades show up, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah,
For some reason I didn't
blades.
expect it.
You got Athena on the boat.
Just there.
Yeah, that's right, Athena on the boat. Oh my goodness, it's good.
Did you know, by the way, Michael, had this all been spoiled for you?
I knew nothing.
Yo, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, and you see the end of God of War 3 when Kratos is killing Zeus, and then Atreus gets Kratos out of there, and he's like, I don't care what I saw. Or
Yeah.
I don't think Atreus could even see anything because it was only for Kratos' eyes, right?
No, he could see it.
He
you
saw
could,
it,
okay.
but he was
saw
kind
it.
of embarrassed for his dad, and he didn't want to.
Yeah, he knew he had to get out of there. He had learned his lesson, basically, to not kill your father.
Yeah, don't kill your dad.
Yeah.
Even though he will in the next one.
Oh.
What about you, Josh? What's your favorite moment?
I have a couple. My favorite line, I don't know if it's my favorite line, but there's an interaction that Atreus and Kratos have where Atreus is like, you didn't even care about mom, you know?
Oh my god.
And Kratos is like, my silence doesn't indicate like that I don't have grief, you know? And he's just talking about how he's dealing with things. And there's something you said, Michael, at the beginning where you said you were talking about grief and why that's such a good word for the story. And you said that you could hear the grief whenever Kratos talked. And I agree with that, but I think I hear his grief even more when he doesn't talk, you know, and the things he doesn't do and the things he doesn't say. He's just so well acted. Like, it's crazy. But I love that, just the way how human Kratos is, you know, because I could see myself dealing with it that way, just like trying to just, you know, just deal with it inside. And then one of my favorite scenes that's always really stuck with me from this game is when Kratos goes into the light of Alfheim and then Atreus pulls him out and there's just mounds of corpses of elves everywhere. And the way Atreus just screams at Kratos, so he's like, you've been in there a long, long time. And you can see how bad Kratos feels, but how angry he is at himself, you know, and how he can't. It's just, like, for me, it always pulls on my heartstrings. Like, man, poor Atreus. I just feel so bad for him. But then I think of that scene, and then I look at them as they go, and they're walking up the steps to Jotunheim, and Kratos lets Atreus carry his mother. And it's just like, the development is so good, you know? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Perfect video game.
Perfect.
Every scene's a good scene. Anyway.
That is true.
That is very true. Every scene is a good scene.
Okay, I think it's time we talk about characters.
Okay.
I'm excited.
We've all talked about Atreus and Kratos' development and their arcs, but the next important person is little Mimir.
Mimir.
Right here.
Dude, I love Mimir.
I love Mimir, yeah.
He is the best.
You never would have thought. Because it seems like a gimmick, you know, in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Like a little side buddy that is just talking your ear off, but he only has the most interesting things to say.
Yes, he does.
How did they do it? How did they record so much dialogue? He's amazing. I don't think I even listened to all of it.
I definitely haven't heard it, and I've played the game for 90 hours now, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, he is the most successfully funny companion character ever created. And he's not just funny, he's just endlessly interesting.
Yeah.
I could listen to him talk all day.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So before you get Mimir, when you're on the boat in Midgard and you're roaming around, it's Atreus and Kratos trying to, I guess, talk to each other but not talk. That's when you're like, okay, where are these non-conversations even going? But then you get Mimir and you realize that he is sorely needed between these two. He needs to be the middleman between these two. Without him, I don't think they would have talked at all on any side quest or anything besides, boy, do this. You did this wrong. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is like the perfect mediator for them. And I think one of my words I was going to use for this game was lore heavy or lore something. I didn't really think too much about it, but just because the lore in this game is so interesting and so well thought out, but also so well communicated. You don't have to read like all of the item descriptions like in a Souls game. You have Mimir, who just says everything so eloquently and perfectly that you just get it. Everything makes sense.
Yep.
And he's also a perfect, because he doesn't have all of his memory, he's perfect for figuring things out with the player and then explain to them as you are figuring it out. So you just get it.
Yeah.
It's, for a layman like me, I can understand the story a bit more.
And I wonder how the guy or, you know, person or whoever it was at Santa Monica, I wonder how they felt when they came up with or like realized that they could just tell us the lore as stories the way it is by just having someone tell stories to Atreus. Like, what a genius. I bet they felt amazing. Like, they just solved
idea.
all the problems.
Yeah.
It's just like, how do we tell these stories? Just tell them. Just have Mimir tell them. It's amazing.
Yeah, you have to row around everywhere. Might as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Have something to listen to.
If anything, I wish he told them for longer, even when I was not rowing.
Yeah. That
Well,
was
more
one of the
Mimir.
things where... Because I would get somewhere a little bit faster, and they're like, let's save this for later.
Like, please don't. Finish it, please, Mimir. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah,
Oh, he's great.
I cut him off the first couple times, and then after that, I just waited at the boat dock until he was done talking. Cause
Me too.
that was like,
Smart.
yeah,
Smart man. I was never that patient with him.
It's because you were just using him for a platinum, Chris.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about Freya before we get into like the bosses.
okay.
Right, yeah.
How do you guys feel about Freya?
She's
Friend
a
or
great-
foe?
Friend or foe?
For some reason, I didn't think that her arc would be similar to Kratos's, but when all said and done, I guess it makes complete sense that her arc is almost the exact same, at least in my eyes, as Kratos's, except her, son dies at the end. That's like the big difference.
Yes.
But
Yeah. You saying that makes me think of another best scene, which is when he snaps Baldur's neck, right? And he talks about he won't let this cycle of vengeance continue. It's just, I think she is a great character, because I think that much of Kratos' character obviously is that he's a father, and he has this undying love for his son, where he would do anything for Atreus, even if he's not very good at expressing how passionate he is.
yeah,
Freya has that same love. And I think you're right, Michael. I think they're two sides of the same coin, where Kratos is coming to terms with the fact that vengeance doesn't bring what you want it to, but she's just beginning her journey of vengeance, But yeah, my gosh, they're such good parents, except for when they're murderers. But yeah, I don't know what I was going with that. But
I wasn't expecting her to be like the catalyst, because obviously Atreus gets the mistletoe arrows from one of them, Brock or Sindri. I think it was Sindri.
yeah,
And that little scene where she throws the arrows into the fire, but Atreus still has that one that Kratos made, is the catalyst for like the end of the game. It's the only way that they're able to finish off Baldur and
yeah,
move on. Definitely got more enjoyment out of Freya and her scenes the second time around, just because of context. And you're picking up on little things that are foreshadowing the end of the game.
like her name being Freya.
Yeah.
yes, knowing who she is.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I had no idea. I knew nothing of like actual Norse mythology with the mistletoe and Baldur.
You didn't pay attention in Hellblade.
No, I did not.
Tisk tisk.
I never played it with headphones, so that was my
It's your problem.
you fool.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Freya, and I really enjoyed her son,
Dude, I love
Baldur.
Baldur.
I didn't at first. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He first introduced himself. He was a jokester. He was
He was a clown.
he was
What a
kind of like the Joker to me, but like
I could see that.
the
The
Suicide
homeless
Squad
version.
Joker. Like
Yeah.
it didn't it didn't click until I think the next interaction, and then after that it was completely fine. And then you see him in Helheim and his interaction with what would be his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such an interesting character. And like to really think about what it would be like to live your life and not be able to feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and how ruining that would be, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I just think he's a great character. I think he has a good ending. I don't know. He's just awesome. He's charismatic, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, maybe I agree with Balder here. I don't know. You know, he's just great.
Mm-hmm.
And his voice actor really turns it up to 11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just the things he does. This game is so ridiculous, you know, and the physical feats that some of the characters do. I just love Balder. I think he's great. And yeah, I think he looks awesome. Love his tattoos, his outfit. Love when he comes out of the water like that after he beats up the world serpent.
Yeah.
Spooky stuff. He's like Lara Croft in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Terrifying. You remember that scene, Chris?
Yes. Yes, I do. Quick before we get into like the combat, Magni and Modi, or should I say not Nathan Drake, Troy Baker and
Is it?
what's his face? Yeah, it's the two of them, Troy Baker and Nolan North.
Nolan North, yeah.
Yeah,
I did not know that was them.
Yep.
Which one is Nolan North?
Nolan North is the one who lives.
Modi? Okay.
Yeah.
And then doesn't live.
Yeah, and then doesn't
live and then dies. Yes, I could tell it was them as soon as I heard them. At least for Troy Baker's, I was like, it sounds like Troy Baker, and it even looks a little bit like him.
That's funny.
Does he have an NFT? Is that why?
Yeah.
I hope there's a Magni NFT now. That's what I want.
I thought these were two interesting bosses. They were, because they're kind of just little daddy's boys, you know, just like brats, but they are gods, and they really sell that to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought their boss fight was really effective. I felt like, you know, them teasing Atreus the whole time to try to get him angry and to act up and to kind of like fumble. The whole fight was good. I think it's the only boss fight that you fight two enemies at the same time, unless there's like an ogre fight.
There's an ogre fight, but yeah.
I mean, like ogre fights with ads and whatnot. Valkyrie with ads, but like that doesn't count.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about Magni and Modi?
I didn't like them all that much, to be honest.
Nor should you.
I mean, like of course, like if they're real people, obviously I wouldn't like them. But in terms of characters, they are kind of forgetful, or I don't really know what they look like. Like I can't picture them, and I saw them probably
you just killed them so fast.
Like a week ago. I probably saw them a week ago, and I can't remember their faces. But the best part about them character-wise was what you said, Chris. It was the fact that they successfully goaded Atreus into messing up and, you know, getting him angry enough, which isn't that hard to do, to be honest.
No, it's not.
Atreus is an anger child.
Yeah. And gameplay wise, it was definitely a lot more interesting gameplay wise, because that's also when they first introduced the back to back with Atreus.
Yeah.
I think that was neat and executed well there.
I think it was neat too. I liked him a lot. I think I disliked him so much that and that was the idea, right? That you hate them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really like what you said, Chris, about them just being little rats, because it really drives home the point of just how horrible the gods are here, and that motif of like, we're gonna be better gods, like we're gonna, until gods are better, like that's the whole point. And you just see how fickle and how horrible they are. Like Modi's not even mad that Magni's dead. He's just mad that now that he's not gonna get Thor's hammer, or if he does, then no one's gonna think it was legit. Like they're just so awful, So just think they're awesome. Like they're really well done characters that are really well done villains, I suppose, and they're just pathetic. It's great.
I agree. Let's talk about some things we don't like about this game. Is there anything you guys don't like?
Yeah, can I ask you guys a question real quick?
Please.
Give it to me.
So, what did you guys think about the enemy variety?
Oh, yes. Too many trolls. Oh, this is the thing. There's a lot. I think there's actually a really good variety when it comes to mobs. You got the stupid, annoying tangleworms. You got the wolves. You got the different types of humanoid enemies. You got like the swarmy enemies. You got the tankier enemies. You got like, I think that the mob variety is actually really good because you have to tackle them all in different ways. Man, the bosses, man.
Yeah, I think it's the mini bosses. Honestly, it's either trolls. Are they like ogres? Are we like considering them the same thing? And like the sentinels and the giants. Those are the three ones. And they all have their different little subclasses, but you fight them the same exact way.
Yeah, they're functionally identical.
Yes. I
agree.
I think that's my problem with it.
The combat and fighting these mini bosses and all the enemies really was reminding me too much of Kenna Bridge of Spirits. And I wasn't liking it.
I like that part of Kenna.
I particularly don't like fighting the witches.
No one likes that.
God.
No one enjoys that.
They're just annoying.
It's a bad time.
Yeah.
It's just they break up the flow of combat, and I just don't like them.
Yeah, they're number one priority whenever they're on screen.
Straight up, yeah. And the variety is, like Josh said, it's a good variety of enemies, but it still feels lacking. It still feels like you guys could have done a little bit more in this department, making the sub bosses a little bit stronger or different. What?
Another thing, sorry, you just brought it all back to me because I forgot what all my cons were. I have on my phone a thing that says cons and nothing below it because I forgot them all. My biggest con, other than the bosses, because I think it is to me annoying that like I fought like 7 trolls, across 5 boss fights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so sad that there were like only like 1 or 2 R3 death animations per weapon and like per body type, you know what I mean?
The brutality kills and stuff like that was
I wanted like lacking. 6 per enemy. Like
yeah.
I would love if every time if there were contextual, like I'm close to a wall, so I think it would
just
some
Last of Us in there. That's what you want.
Yes, I want Neil up here. Neil the rat.
Conspiracy.
That's right. We need some board conspiracy, dude. Oh my gosh, because it just kind of took me out of it. Like when I did my 3rd one and it was the same, I just stomped this dude's head again.
Or you pick them up and you throw them around, And they all take so long sometimes. Sometimes you just want them to be like quick so you can get to the next enemy.
Just more variety. Just
especially
more
in
variety.
Like Muspelheim and Niflheim when time matters a lot.
Yeah.
I avoided
Killing
the
70
R3 death
enemies
animations.
Like,
that's a shame because they're so
die.
Cool, like individually,
Yeah.
Like the wolf where you like rip its mouth off. Like,
that's
insane.
Mouth and chest off.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So I feel like they needed a couple more for me.
I totally agree with you.
Also with the sub bosses as well, there was just one for each for whatever type it was. It wasn't
Yeah, one kill animation.
Yeah, except for the biggest troll in
Hellhound.
what was it? In Odin's like castle or whatever. That's like the only different one, but it's like
Oh yeah.
he like
The Tears
he like
Temple.
stops the pillar from crushing his head, but then you still kill him in the same animation anyway.
Yeah, it's still the same where you like jump up, use your axe, and you pull something down on it.
Yeah.
And it's the same even with the ogre guys, because take the pillar away and he's just hitting their head with an axe and pulling it down.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. It was getting a little tired for sure, especially because of how much combat is in this game.
We also don't need Niflheim or Muspelheim.
Yeah, you probably could have saved that for Ragnarok.
Or just
Maybe.
thrown it away and forgot that you made it.
Or maybe
I enjoyed them so little. But
or
Muspelheim is better than
one-
Niflheim. But
Yeah, for sure. But used one so you didn't have to like go to Helheim twice.
Maybe.
I could see that. But I kind of like
Maybe.
going to Helheim twice.
But I guess for Ragnarok, everything's gonna be changed. Like when you go
knows?
Muspelheim, it's gonna have like contextual story and stuff like
Okay.
that. It's not gonna be like the arena realm.
Yeah, the challenges were, it was a weird choice to have them two as sort of challenge levels and not
Yeah,
its
it's
own-
like, is
Yeah.
this the entire realm?
yeah.
This is all there is, man. The entire realm.
Things I don't like, or they caught me off guard, or put me off in a way. Obviously, the UI.
What do you mean? Because I feel like I like the UI. You mean the menus? Because the menus are trash.
The menus, yeah.
They're
Sorry,
confusing
not like
menus.
not the HUD or anything, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
because
actual-
the HUD's actually great.
HUD's
I like
clean,
the HUD. I
it's
think that's pretty sick.
great. No, but
And
the
it-
actual menus.
I didn't
Or-
use them.
Yeah.
They
Or
also,
the
I
map
feel like
even.
they would be better on PC. Like they're one of those menus where I feel like they don't do as well on the console, but they're just cluttered and there's so many. There's
Yeah.
like 15 menus.
I only went to the lore menu and the
Yeah,
map.
yeah.
It's the only one that matters. So
And I don't even like the map very much, to be honest.
I don't like it either.
it's not very
trash map.
functional. It's
No.
like
What's the point of it? You look at this like oil painting version of where you've been, and
Yeah.
it has symbols. And it's like, that's great. And, oh, I can't fast travel there until halfway through the game, and then
Yeah.
And when you
fast
do, it
travel's
takes
so
10
bad,
minutes.
You don't even want to do it. Yeah, it takes so long. I definitely saw an improvement on PS5 load time wise.
yeah, it's a lot
It was
better.
way better than the PS4 version.
I mean, it was instant for me, so I don't know what you guys
Yeah.
are talking about.
But one thing that I don't know if I liked a ton was, I don't even know how to put this really, but I felt like I was in an MMO sometimes with the quest updates or
Oh, like the favors, the small favors.
the favors.
Hmm.
Here, I have it here somewhere. Yeah, I don't like the quest updates like in an MMO, especially during or after tense scenes or like emotional scenes, and then on the corner of my screen it pops up with a little jingle and it's like, go here,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
talk to the witch in the forest, and that would take me out of it. And a part of me wishes this game wasn't an RPG. Like I could still see like upgrading your weapons through the elves or dwarves. But you know, a part of me really didn't want to change my armor, upgrade it with the runic thing that I need. And I sort of longed for being Kratos, like in the old games, where this is all he is. He's a god of war. He doesn't need these armor buffs to be stronger. It makes no sense actually, but
I
yeah, that's
mostly
how I felt about it.
I agree with you, at least to the extent where I didn't like that his armor was so hideous. Like
Sometimes
90,
some of
95.
some armor is awful.
Yeah.
Like, especially the Traveler ones. Or not the Traveler ones. What are they called? Anyway, because there's like 3 archetypes. This man needs at least one shoulder unclothed at all times.
For sure.
And so anything
Absolutely.
that covered like his whole chest, no. Don't even add that in the game. Get that out of here.
Yeah, that was very odd. The whole
ugly
chest armor, like he's some cleric in Diablo or something.
Hideous.
Yeah.
So I never wore it, even if it would have made me better. I just stuck with like whatever armor I thought looked good.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I could see what you're saying. I'm not a huge fan of the gear grind aspect of it, but I did love the runic abilities and all that jazz. But like
That stuff's great.
but like getting like buff gems, like again, like it's Diablo. You know what I mean? Just not a
2% luck here and there. And
yeah,
I
Not a
got way
gigantic
too many
fan.
gems.
yeah,
yeah.
and most of them are so bad. You know?
Yeah.
And a part of me wishes you couldn't change the shield.
I actually changed it like twice. Maybe.
I did too, but I wish I didn't have the option to because I felt like
You
using
can change the shield.
Faye's shield was...
In terms of appearance, yeah.
I had no idea
Yeah.
you could change your shield.
Yeah.
How?
Cosmetics. I mean.
Yeah. There's a little option.
I had to go back and replay the game. Also,
Right there.
for
it's right there.
future reference, the recording has stopped and it doesn't want to continue. So,
Oh, okay, that's fine.
so funnily enough, no one can see the sick shield, but
Okay, then no.
I can see it. So that's all that matters. I'm the only one that matters.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
What?
yeah.
How did I see? This is the menus. This is the problem. I had no idea.
You had no idea.
I played this game twice. I had no idea you could change the shield.
Well, yeah, for story reasons, I wish you couldn't change it. To be
I'm with
honest,
you.
like I wish it was only Faye's. It makes sense, and Faye is, by the way, his wife. I did like the upgrading the weapons. That made sense and looked really cool. Made them look awesome.
Yeah, I love how the axe like changed over time.
Yeah. The axe was like the coolest part of his gear.
See, I don't even carry the bad armor with me. I only keep the one shoulder armor.
That's right, man. That's the way to be.
I mean, I have the Valkyrie armor. I don't know.
I don't even remember what that looks like.
It's like big and gold.
Oh, makes sense.
Pretty
I mean,
sick.
it's the best one, so it's the only reason why. I'm all about the grind. Like I don't.
Yeah, you are.
That's right.
Do you have anything else you guys don't like about the game? I have a few last questions before we end here.
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I could see them cutting a mission, cutting it down by 2 hours or so. It's not a long game. I think it's about 20, 25 hours at max if you're not doing all the side content. I think a full story run, pure story, maybe 18, 15 hours, But I could have seen them cutting like maybe an hour. But other than that, it's pretty well paced, It's good. I don't have a whole lot of problems with it.
I think I would have wanted more actually, but it's not a huge deal. It's not like a real negative. But finishing it, I just want more.
Oh, absolutely.
That's kind of
You're gonna get it.
Someday.
Maybe someday, eventually.
Maybe you just have to drop $600 and get a PS5. Or you
I
can
will
spend
say-
$200 and play it at 15 frames per second.
I'm not doing that.
I will say...
I played this
oh,
one
sorry.
at almost 90, so I'm not going.
The Buddha.
Not going back. No, I definitely agree with you. I will say, I always want more of the story. I don't want the fluff or the extra stuff. Like, I didn't do any side missions. I didn't do any favors for anybody this time. But yeah, at the very end, when you're on the highest peak in Jotunheim, you want to keep going. You want to just keep continuing. Like, where's the rest? But did you guys go back to the house after the credits?
I actually didn't the first time.
Michael.
And I uninstalled the game right after I finished it. So I just looked it up on YouTube.
Okay. There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah, a nice little segue into Ragnarok.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I have one question about the story. That might be a good...
I have one as well.
Okay, good. These will be good segues into talking maybe a little bit about Ragnarok.
Okay.
And how we feel about it. But who blew the horn, guys? Who blew the horn?
Who blew the horn?
Yeah.
Can you choose?
No.
I thought it was Balder at first, but that wouldn't make sense because he wouldn't be able to talk to the world serpent.
So Josh,
Right.
remember when Mimir's like, somebody just blew the horn when you're trying to heal Atreus? Atreus is sick and you're taking him to Freya, and someone blows the horn.
He's like, we can't worry about that now.
Oh gosh, yeah. I have no freaking clue.
I guess it could be a... I think I totally missed it the first time I played it, but the second time I definitely latched onto it.
I just forgot. Yeah, I was so worried about Atreus. I was being a good dad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No clue.
It would have to be someone who can talk to the world serpent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to be old, but they probably couldn't be
Odin.
anyone related to Thor, or the world serpent would have been trying to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was Odin. I think Odin's been controlling everything, just like this story has been hinting at.
No, I can see that.
At least that's what I would assume.
Interesting.
I have no idea.
Because he calls the world serpent out, right? Whoever does it, and it shrinks. It shrinks the water level again, doesn't it? That's when it shrinks again. Or am I missing something?
Remember. That would make sense.
So he changes the level again, makes you progress further, so that you can open up Jotunheim to everybody. That would make sense. That makes sense to me.
I was thinking maybe you go in Ragnarok, either Atreus does it to travel through time.
Okay.
Like maybe Kratos dies at some point in Ragnarok. Hinted
I could see that.
At the mural.
Yeah.
So he goes back, and I'm pretty sure because Jormungandr, or whatever his name is, the serpent is a time traveling serpent. So maybe you can go back and save one of the main characters. Or since maybe you only play as Kratos, it would be kind of interesting if you learned how to speak Giant being Loki's dad. It would be kind of interesting if you could learn how to speak the serpent's tongue.
You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna pull Last of Us too. They're gonna kill off Kratos, and you're gonna play as Atreus.
Oh my gosh, Odin's gonna kill Kratos with a golf club, bro. Oh, I didn't even know they had golf in this universe.
Well, they went forward in time, got a 9-iron, and came back.
Thought we were safe. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I think either of those could totally be what happens. It almost would be too predictable for it to be Atreus coming back in time, pulling like a prisoner of Azkaban, saving himself.
Those are my exact thoughts.
But that is what they would do. So like,
I have one more theory, but I want to hear Michael's question first, because my other theory kind of involves Ragnarok a lot more.
Got it. Did you guys predict the ending at all? Were you guys like spoiled for anything when you guys were first playing?
No.
Could you guys okay, what about like Atreus's name? Because that was a huge reveal to me.
Huge. Huge. I had no clue.
Yeah.
But it made
like,
total
"What?"
sense though. Like once you
It really does. Because
like-
Loki's a half giant, half god, right? Basically. Yeah, I thought that was a great reveal.
I super agree. And I also didn't realize how unobvious it was that Atreus's mother was a giant.
Yeah.
Like when I first played it, you know, I got to the end and then all of my memories of the game coalesced. So I thought it was like, oh, you know, his mom's a giant the whole time. But you don't. They almost never even outright say it until like they're in Jotunheim, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then everything makes sense. Like, oh, that's why Baldur was, he thought that Kratos was the giant. Anyway, so it's just.
And he thought he'd be bigger, right? That's
like, oh,
That's
perfect
another thing.
reveal.
Yeah,
I
they
agree.
hinted at saying, I think Atreus said not all giants are big or something like that, or Mimir said that.
That was like the first time like Atreus thought Kratos made a joke because he's like, how would they fit in here? But it's like a small cave. But that's just the name of the race. They're not actual giants for the most part.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good indeed. My other theory for the horn is Tyr, which he is proclaimed dead in 2018. But as we all know from the trailer and the key art, Tyr's there.
But he's locked up.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be dead. So I'm wondering if somehow they went even further back in time before he died, saved him in that realm, bring him back, or something like that.
So how did he die? According to 2018.
Don't know.
In
It was explained in one of the
I think he
mural
hasn't
things.
died. I think he's just disappeared.
Maybe he did just disappear. Because he was able to find a way to travel through the realms that no one else could, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Because I have a theory that for the fast travel in the next game, you're not going to be traveling through realms as they are, but through time. I don't know. I just think that would be the obvious evolution.
I could
with
see
like
that.
SSDs and stuff is you go to Alfheim differently, because obviously we just killed all the dark elves in Alfheim. Maybe go further or backwards and go to Jotunheim before the bridge was destroyed by Tyr and stuff like that. I think it would be really interesting. I would place my bets that that's gonna be like the new system instead of traveling on the Earth Tree or whatever it's called.
I got a quick question, real quick.
Yeah.
You reminded me of Alfheim and the Dark Elves. What did you guys go back to Alfheim when you got Mimir?
No.
No,
When you
because
had
I
them-
hate Alfheim. It's the worst.
So he actually explained some lore stuff in it.
Really?
What does he say?
What does he say?
I mean, you're gonna have to look that one up because I'm
Okay.
gonna butcher it because I can't do what Mimir does. But it's Kratos is right all the time. That's all you got to know, really.
That makes sense. I'm sure the White
okay.
Elves were bad a lot too.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. If you remember what happened in Alfheim and what Atreus and Kratos were saying, yeah, Kratos is always right.
Hey guys, sorry for the interruption, but sadly, due to technical difficulties, we lost Josh's audio beyond this point. I tried to make it sound like it was just Michael and I speaking, so if it sounds weird or disjointed, that's why. We hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I really commend you for making it this far. Thanks for listening. Yeah, because Atreus always gave the White Elves the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, because they were being attacked, but yeah.
Michael, have you watched any of the Ragnarok stuff? Any trailers?
No,
Okay.
I've only seen a cutscene of a boat, and I was like, I'm hyped.
Yeah. So, I'll still ask this. There's a lot of hate going on with Ragnarok in terms of people calling it DLC. I think, because people also in it's not just that Ragnarok is going to be bad or Ragnarok looks like 2018, but people, I think, put 2018 at such a high level that it can't be topped. Sort of like The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2. It's like, how do you beat that? And I remember, I forgot if it was in the Raising Kratos documentary or if it's just something that I read, you know, six or 5 years ago when this game came out. That Cory Barlog was writing the game and was writing so much that he was already like writing the sequel as he was writing the game for 2018. So in terms of story, I think there's nothing to be worried about because technically it was written by the guy who wrote this one. But yeah, it was bringing up a question of like, because I remember Forbidden West got the same flack, same animations. You know, people were like, why does she look the same here? And it's the same one from Forbidden West or from Zero Dawn. And I was just wondering, like, how do you guys feel about that? Like, do you think that game developers need to go change everything for a sequel?
No.
On your point, Michael, when you said that all you saw was the clip of him getting into the boat, people got mad specifically at that scene. They're like, that's the same animation, but at the same time, it's the same person. Why would they do it differently all of a sudden? It's the same looking boat. It's the same person.
Is taller, but I noticed that.
Yeah, I wonder if that much time has gone by, or maybe he just gets bigger faster being a giant. What if it's only like a year later? But that would be kind of weird too, because I think the game has to start with him being young again. Because why would Odin and Thor wait so long? I don't think they ever say how old he is.
No, he's not old.
I have one little point. So when they were going to make this game originally, it was supposed to be Egypt. And then they cut that. They're like, well, why don't we do this and this and this? But at the end of the game on Jotunheim, you find the Tears plaque thing, and it shows all the different mythologies. Why do you guys think they brought that up? Because I don't know if you know this, Michael, but they've already said that Ragnarok is the end of the Norse saga. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a trilogy.
Okay.
I could have sworn it's supposed to be a trilogy. That's what people have said. Do you guys think that they're going to go back to Greek stuff? I mean, I guess we wouldn't know until after Ragnarok.
So who were the other two? There was Egypt and Roman?
I could have sworn it was like Irish mythology. No, Irish. Christian. Like Jesus at the end. It might have been Japan. It might have been,
or maybe the third one will be about the last two. Like it could just be both of them. Like could be what they're planning.
It could be from, instead of traveling through realms, you're traveling through mythologies. Yeah, you could even do that in this game, in the next one. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna kill all the gods everywhere.
It would have to be for Atreus, right? So some danger, some curse would have to befall Atreus.
They need so much help for Odin that they have to go through other mythologies to fight him, or something like that.
They got to like recruit like
some Avengers.
Gonna go to space. Stop at Starship.
Goes to America and grabs Abe Lincoln.
Turns into like Smash gameplay.
That'd be awesome.
Kratos in a party brawler.
He's already in Fortnite.
Wait, he's in Fortnite?
Yeah, Kratos was the first PlayStation guy to ever go to Fortnite, I think. It was him, and then Master Chief, and then I think the next big one was Spider-Man. Then I think they threw Nathan Drake and Chloe in there. Now we just need the Queen Elizabeth II. You guys have anything else before we close out? I expect him not to die. It's too close to The Last of Us Part 1 and 2. I think it would just be weird. Because they already got the flack for 2018 because it's like, oh, they're just giving a kid to Kratos. It's Joel and Ellie again.
Yeah. I haven't on the spot prediction. Just kind of out of
Give it to
nowhere.
me.
Kratos dies, but Tyr brings him back to life, and Tyr dies instead.
Tyr replaces him.
Yes.
One God of War for another.
I think Tyr sacrificing himself for a god would be a good ending to
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
because he hates the gods.
Yeah.
So
And he wants them to be good.
mhm.
So he sacrifices
good-
himself for a potentially good one.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm sorry if I spoiled Ragnarok for you.
Oh. Well, I really like this conversation, guys.
Yes.
I actually, you know what? I have one more ask.
Okay.
Do you guys think the game benefited from the one take, or do you wish sometimes it was a little more cinematic?
For me, it was unnoticeable in the best way. I didn't have
Wasn't in your
any
face.
problems with any pacing issues, any quests, anything like that. It all felt natural. I can go at whatever pace I wanted. My pace is always slow, by the way. I do everything, sort of. But yeah, I can say that I ignored it and it took care of me.
It's very good. I agree with you guys. I think for this game and how they did it, it's one of the only defining characteristics that, it's not like other video games, and there is something special about it being a one take, and not just for the gimmick, but how they do it. And like Josh said, it's very personal and it's very immersive. I've seen movies that were one take. I haven't seen 1917, but like Birdman's supposed to look like one take.
Birdman, I like Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman's good. But I don't know how much the one take really added to my experience of watching Birdman.
True.
And I wonder if it's going to be in Ragnarok. Do they stick with the one take? It would be interesting if they didn't.
I don't see why they would change it, though.
Yeah, I think it's one of the defining factors of the
Yeah.
new God of War games.
Yeah. Do they ever sleep in the game?
No.
They don't, huh?
They try. They try.
Oh, that's why when they get back to their house, they're dead tired. At the end, they sleep.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's so much growth in one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
It's a blast having you as always.
It was really fun. I liked it.
Thank you, Josh, for being you. For having this be your game of the year retroactively.
Yeah.
And thank you to all the listeners and Patreon supporters.
Mhm.
We love all of you. And till Ragnarok, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.